Milo, is that you?
There, I think I got it. Your hands smell like limonene?
From the, I use citrus-based cement for gluing styrenes now instead of MEK.
Oh, yeah? How come?
Because MEK is not really good for you.
Oh, so where would you get citrus-based cement?
Ambroid used to make it. I think you can still buy it from Micromark and others, but I bought a whole bunch a while ago, so I'm good. Safe Welder, Safe Bond, I think.
Does it work? Like, is it like what's?
Oh yeah, it works. It works well.
MEK isn't CA though, is it?
No, MEK is a solvent methyl ethyl ketone, which is also a solvent thinner. A lot of industrial uses they use for cleaning machinery and stuff. They use plastic coatings and stuff because it melts the plastic right off and cleans up the machines, that kind of stuff. So,
I feel relatively confident that I could say this with quite confidently. I can say this with a lot. I don't know much about glue,
except that if you stick it to your finger and on your eyebrow, you're in trouble.
Yeah, if you stick your finger to your eyelid, man, you are, especially with crazy glue.
Yes, you're out to the emergency ward unless you can get a washcloth on it and soak it, and hopefully it breaks the bond.
So why don't you use CA?
Because I want. I've got some plastic CA, but I prefer the solvent stuff because it gives me a little more time to move parts around and get in position rather than having like one shot with the.
Right.
Like the CA sets in 15, 30 seconds, but this stuff I like it. Gives a good initial tack, and then you can make sure everything's in place and clamp it or whatever, and away you go.
You should do a clinic. So how long does it take for citrus-based? What is it? Citrus-based glue.
Yeah, it's a solvent cement.
All right. So how long does it take for it to be like? Because that's why I use CA. Because
this stuff will set up like it'll be set up in a minute or so.
Okay.
And then I just leave it after that to harden up. I'm got some stuff glued up, so yeah, it sets up pretty good in about a minute, and then just let it sit for a while to get the full strength. Yeah,
a minute's a long time.
Depends what you're doing. So, if you're sitting in the penalty box with 50 seconds left in the game, and the other team has the man advantage trying to score, yeah,
and then they pull the gun. They're down one, and then they got their goal. They pull out their goalie, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is." And then, unless of course you're a Leaf fan, and you're like, "Well, I don't really care."
Yeah,
so we all know how this is going to end, so I really
it's all over anyhow.
Yeah, but they're leading 3-1 in the last period of Game 7. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No, this is it. No, it's not.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Game 6 is where they should have put them away this year.
Oh, they should have.
Did you see that? What game was it? Game 3 or 4 where they were down 5-1?
Yeah.
And then they came back. And did you see? And after they got to 5-3 with 2 minutes to go, Matthews took a shot. And when you slowed it down, what stopped it was the knob of the Vasilevsky stick. The knob. If that had gone in and it had been 5-4 with 2 minutes to go, I think they would have won that game.
I think, yep.
So it was the knob. It's always something with the Leafs.
Yeah. just not a Stanley Cup beyond the first round.
Yeah. It's always, that's a good way to, that's what we could use the title for this show.
It's always something with Leafs.
It's always something with the Leafs.
See, the problem is the last one is 67, and I don't know, but my family only had black and white TV then, so the last Stanley Cup victory Leafs have, I remember in black and white, so.
Didn't they back then, though, wasn't it like I remember as a kid, Hockey Night in Canada came on like at 9 o'clock or 8:30 halfway through the second period.
Oh, sometimes I know, particularly in Windsor, it did because Windsor is in the Red Wings broadcast area. So a lot of times when Detroit was playing at home, we wouldn't get the Leafs game until halfway through the second period in Detroit.
How come you're not a bigger Detroit fan?
I don't know. I've never been a Red Wings fan. I've always been a Leafs fan. I'm a Detroit Tigers fan, Detroit Lions fan, but never been a big Red Wings fan. They've had some great teams, and if they're in there, I'll go for them. But I've always been a Leafs guy for some reason.
Rather than enjoy some victories over the last 25 years, you decided.
I enjoyed the Red Wing victories. I'd like to see another Maple Leaf victory before I die. That's on my bucket list. The Maple Leaf Stanley Cup.
You know what? If you are 60 years old,
yes,
you probably don't remember a Leaf Stanley Cup.
Exactly.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
And and every year it's the year, and it's like, no, it's not.
That's right. No, it's not.
No, I think this year is it. No, it's not.
No, just kidding.
Yeah, just kidding. We're up 3-2. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Yep.
So this is this the first podcast since the last podcast?
It is indeed the first podcast since the last podcast, and it will probably be. Well, I don't know because it may be the next the last podcast for the next podcast, but where they go on, we're not sure. Yes,
it's actually quite an involved job for you, isn't it?
It is. I've got charts and figures and graphs, and I've got some models made, and showing everything. And it's like that. The 3D chess thing they play on Star Trek, trying to keep track of them.
Is it like? Do you make jigs and fixtures?
I do. In fact, that's what I'm making today, gluing up stuff with my aluminum. I'm actually making a jig today because it's going to hold a piece to be drilled. So by definition, it's a jig.
So today you're actually making a jig to keep track of whether this is the first podcast.
Yes, that's right. I'm making a jig.
This is All-Star. Excuse me while I clear my throat. This is All-Star Variety Hour number 41.
Very good.
And today we have Adam Pinellas first.
Oh, they're always entertaining.
Always entertaining Adam Pinellas because he's had some changes in his life.
Yes.
But things seem to be moving forward, and he's all about live steam these days. But I couldn't understand. I got lost like 10 minutes in. I couldn't understand what the heck was going on.
That's where he just kind of nods. Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah. No, yeah. And then after that, we got our buddy, the Mayor of Hornepayne, Boy George, Foreman, doing his. We interviewed him because he's now on train 451.
Yes,
and we talked about how we were gonna go trackside and see him.
Yes,
we haven't done that yet.
No, because he keeps sending us text messages when we're still sleeping.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I did see on the fans page, he, what's his name from Rapido got trackside and got some shots of him going up through there.
Jordan Smith got him in Huntsville.
Smith, that's right. Yeah.
Like, I don't know why George didn't tell us that. That seemed to be like a regular time. So why didn't he tell us about that one? And then the other day I sent him a text. Are you still on 451? But it was it's George. It's the Mayor of Hornepayne. Anyways, that's what this show is. It is Adam Pinellas and then the Mayor of Hornepayne. It's actually quite a good show.
That is would be a good show, yes.
Yeah. So let's just do it, and then we can move on from there.
Let's just do it and move on.
Yeah.
Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Subway chimes, go.
Bruce?
Lionel?
Bruce, I hear an echo now. I hear a lot of noise.
Somebody's getting beer in an echo. Most entertaining.
Dave?
Heavy breathing.
Yeah, there's heavy breathing. There's a lot of noise. I said don't say anything. I didn't say move around the studio. I wonder if he's going to come back. I can hear myself talking because he's put the headset right beside the microphone. And I can hear him breathing.
Kind of like
Today. Have you got your headset back?
Dude, it sounds like we're in a bar.
It sounds like
in a bar.
Yeah, in a bar, yeah. This might be the best start to a podcast we've ever had.
Ever.
It's right up there.
Yeah. Put your headset on, Adam.
Hi. Hello?
Hello.
Wow. Wow.
I said don't say nothing. I didn't say make all the noise in the world.
Oh,
What
well, I
were-
didn't. Well, I didn't say anything.
No, you didn't say anything. Fair dues. You actually didn't say nothing, so that's fair.
Yes. All right. Here we go. This is a grand start.
Yeah, exactly. What did you get to drink? A beer or half a dozen beers?
Well, yeah, half a dozen.
Where are you right now? Winnemucca, Nevada?
Winnemucca, Nevada.
I can hear an echo. Can you guys hear that?
There's an echo.
An echo.
Yeah. What did he do?
I don't know. Turn your mic off for a minute, Adam.
I just did.
Turn it off again. Leave it off. Yeah, it's on his end.
Yeah.
No,
Now I don't hear an echo.
I don't
Turn
hear
your
it.
mic back on. Try again.
Say something.
Yeah, there it
We're
is.
getting an echo from you.
Yeah, do better. Yeah, go out.
Give me 1 second. Watch
Okay.
this.
All right, I'm watching this. We're watching. Hold my beer and watch this, he says.
There he is. He's gone.
Well, yeah, now he's gone. It's just the three of us now. This is for anybody that's wondering what the idea of this particular episode, this show, is that we're going to talk to Adam Pinellas, who we haven't talked to in a long time. And so the plan here is we're going to talk to Adam. Hello, Adam. Hello, Adam.
Hello.
Hello, Adam.
Hello, Adam. Hello. Did it work?
No, it didn't.
It's still echo.
I wonder, what did he do there?
Oh, slammed his head in the wall.
Or fell off a bar stool finally. Holy moly. Thump thump.
Yeah. And I wonder if this will be on the Patreon channel or the regular channel.
Oh, this is certainly antics. Some of them sounds
Yeah,
like
it's
Patriot to me.
antics. Yeah, this is Adam Antics.
If you want antics, this is antics.
You've come to the right
here.
place.
Yes, sir. You
You
thought
have-
getting a T-shirt with a hot dog on was good. Well, check out the antics right here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. This is way better than a T-shirt with a hot dog on it. So how are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well.
You got a big-
It was a busy holiday weekend. Everything came together nicely, and now it's a cold, rainy night in Lebanon, and things are good. I took a couple photos of the layout tonight and got the kids to bed, and here we are. So things are good. I had a interesting couple days covering for my boss at work last week.
Oh yeah, how did that go?
Yeah, that was it. It was fascinating. Much busier than I expected.
Yeah, busy how?
Just constant issues. People calling me constantly for, who to talk to about this or what to say about that and approval for this, that, or the other thing. And I didn't realize just how much my boss has going through her. I mean, stuff that in my department, I think I would long ago have had people call somebody in my organization to handle some of this stuff.
Right.
Was coming to her. Thinking
Right.
to myself, why?
Why are they talking to her when they could? Yeah.
There's, I don't know. I mean, it was just a couple days, but it was much busier than I expected.
Yeah. You don't really like to receive calls, do you?
I like calls, but at work is different because it is what it is. You have to pick it up when it comes at work. But I want to make sure that if I'm on the phone, I want to make sure that if I pick up a call, I have time to talk and I'm not in the middle of something else, So I am selective about which calls I receive for sure. That's one of the trouble, the tough things these days about modern phones is that you're always on call. There's no off time.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And
That's
working
true.
for a railroad, I mean, I've got custodians that work 24 hours a day. I've got electricians on duty right now, at Newark Penn Station. And so I've delegated those calls to my organization, but Lisa in her organization, she gets those calls. They come through her.
Oh, really?
So
yeah, so it was interesting, eye-opening experience.
There you go.
My son, who's very capable of working in my business now, one of the first things he thought he would do to make it a happy, friendly place is he gave his cell phone number to all of the employees. And I went, I didn't say nothing at the time, but I thought,
Nope.
He'll learn. He'll learn.
Yep.
Not
Is
sure.
Adam back?
Adam? No, there's no Adam yet. Adam's still absent. We can see a picture of him, but there's no Adam. Oh, now we got a big picture of him. But there he's gone.
No, it's good.
He's
I think aliens have taken over.
yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem when you do it from a hotel. It's if you don't buy the premium service, if you're not in a decent hotel where they sell you a premium service, because that's a new thing. When I go to a Hampton or a Marriott, they always have this, for $5.95 or $4.95, and you get better internet. So I always just pay the $5 and suck it up, so that I actually have real internet.
Yeah, subpar internet just doesn't work.
It does not work.
That's something I've learned from you, Lionel.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. We at the AML wish to educate, and there we have.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Bruce, how are you, good sir?
I'm doing fine. I'm sitting here, and it's snowing outside our place right now. So,
yeah,
which means it's probably snowing outside Lionel's place too.
Yeah, which is great on April the 18th or 19th, 2 days after.
Well, we've had some big snowstorms in Rex in mid-April. You recall in the past, Mr. Strange.
We have, but that didn't really start. I mean, my birthday's April 16th, and I can remember up until the age of 40, there was up until that very first big storm we had in Barrie, where there was a huge wreck on the highway. We had never had snow after my birthday.
Yeah, you're usually pretty safe when mid-April is done.
Yeah. Adam wants to know.
But in answer to your question, Dave, I'm doing fine. I'm approaching almost a year of retirement now, and it's been a great time in my life so far.
So, given a year of retirement,
yes,
what would be 2 pieces of advice you give to somebody like me that's in 2/3 of the career are done, 1/3 is left, give or take? Maybe I'll stay a little bit longer, maybe I won't. But the question is, what are 2 pieces of advice from you to somebody like me?
The first thing is, if you're thinking at all, look at it carefully and get a hold of some financial advisor, be it your bank or somebody else, and go over what you have as far as pensions and incomes from investments, that type of thing, and see if you can make it a go as soon as you can.
As soon as I can. This is consistent advice that I've heard.
Okay, so we can still hear the echo, Adam, but let's see you. Let's hear you talk.
Am I here?
You're here. So you know what? I can probably do something with on my end, and mostly it's about you anyway. So a few questions here and there with a bit of an echo. We'll press on.
Well, I don't know what the echo's about, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, but we'll press on anyways. Oh, you mean you're sorry about the echo? I get you.
Yeah, I don't know what the echo is.
So hey, you know what? First question I want to ask is, I saw a video today on your on your Facebook page of your son bull riding.
Yeah, he took up a new little hobby and it turned into something. He's starting to get pretty good at it.
How old is he?
15.
Oh, wow. When did he start doing that?
Last fall, really. I mean, it was kind of he's talked about it for a while, and I just never thought he'd actually do it, but he ended up doing it, which blew my mind because I could never get him to really do much of anything, but he'll jump on a bull.
Other kids.
Now, what causes a young man of 15 to think it'd be a good idea to get on the back of a 1,000-pound bull and go for a ride?
Social media.
Ah, okay.
Oh, really?
I am convinced that social media and the instant gratification and accolades from peers are enough to push somebody to do stupid things.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, we won't say that riding a bull riding is a stupid thing, because it's a very popular sport with a lot of people. I mean, I'm pretty impressed that a 15-year-old boy wants to do such a thing.
yeah, but out of the blue, it was just kind of like I couldn't believe he did it. Like, I mean, he's always kind of. I was always nervous that he was just never really the super outgoing, I'm going to go do this type of thing. And then all of a sudden here he is.
Bull riding.
Holy
mackerel. All right. And is he any good at it?
Yeah. Well, for starting out, he's really good. He's actually jumped up a few levels pretty fast. And especially for being as tall as he is, it's a lot harder just because of, physics, I guess. But Most bull riders are short little dudes, and he's pretty tall, so he has a lot of balance and a lot of core strength, extra core strength that's required just to keep him on that pendulum.
And what's your son's name?
Mason.
Oh, yeah, okay. So this is Mason. Okay.
Yeah, this is Mason. This is little Mason.
Wow.
He's not so little. He's not so little anymore.
Give him hell, buddy. Give him hell. Tell him I said give him hell.
Oh, he's on it. He loves it.
Wow. Well, it's a great sport. I mean, it's a sport of true men. It's kind of like lacrosse, only tougher. It's like, wow, what a sport. Holy mackerel. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm assuming you'll get your own bull and you'll ride along with him, eh?
Oh yeah, I've got one just out back.
Got out back with the railroad tied up to you.
Yeah, it's old Bessie there. She's take me to town once in a while.
So speaking of railroads, how's your backyard railroad coming?
It's came a long way. I've got a lot of water features in, but there's been a few turn of events that is kind of leaving its future in the air. Not sure exactly what's going to happen with it, but we're shooting for the best. So
okay.
I guess it's the life and times of every good railroad, come and go,
Right. So you might end up having to sell the place and move on, eh?
Yeah, but it's in true Pinellas fashion. It will, if something happens to this one, something bigger and better will come to pass. So.
Well, and what about what you've been doing with Arthur Dutra and Art Dutra?
That's all still going pretty strong. We took this spring or this early spring, January till this year anyway. First quarter has been slow just because just so many things been going on. But we've got a big event in June up in Oregon that we'll be at, and we're excited for it. We're going to actually have a couple pieces of equipment there on display, and hopefully be able to really get people fired up about it.
Is that up at Train Mountain?
Train Mountain, the triennial.
That's a neat spot. I've never been there, but boy, that looks awesome. Lionel, you and I have talked about that place before. I think with Adam once.
Yeah, but you know what? There's one in Ohio. That's huge. There's one in Ohio that's absolutely massive. You're gonna have to stop breathing into that, man. You sound like you're dying.
There's a big one in Michigan as well.
Yeah, but this one in Ohio. I stumbled across it, and man, I'm telling you, this is let's see, no life. Oh man, I gotta find it now. I gotta find it because maybe it's the Northeastern. It's not. It's like Mill Creek or something like that.
Yeah, the Mill Creek Central.
Mill Creek Central. Thanks for helping out. Thanks for jumping in.
Well, I just wanted to see if I definitely didn't want to step on your toes. Your feet are bigger than
mine. Mill Creek Central. Ah, man, now there's someplace we got to go, Dave. Holy mackerel.
Yeah, I've seen
there's
that.
Some big.
The train orders guys, there's a whole club of these guys on the train orders website, trainorders.com. And there's a couple groups in Texas. There's the Ohio guys, the Mill Creek Central. There's the Train Mountain is amazing. Wasn't there one in Missouri recently that's I think it fell upon some hard times, but this is like one of my favorite parts of model railroading is the whole outdoor live steam experience. It's because it's actually railroading. There's no question.
Yeah, but you got to be careful from that. Like I don't want to take away from the guys that are model railroading. It's a version of model. It's something different.
It's just different. It's a whole different game. I mean, I respect all of the model railroading, all the scales, all of it. This when you get into this, it's a little bit different. Just whereas it's just big. It's just big. It really isn't for everybody. I've seen. I don't believe that. I think that everybody, if you got into it, you're going to be hooked. If you even try or you acquire a piece of equipment, it's over. You're done. You're not going to get back. You're not going to get out of it. Whereas they call it tabletop trains now, or the smaller scales. That's a whole different ball game. I think the tabletop stuff or the smaller, the model trains, the HON, all that stuff. It's a lot more art than machinery, to me.
That's a good
To me,
comparison. Yep.
It's the difference between, just the art aspect of modeling versus the mechanical end of modeling.
Well, that's a perfect analogy though. Like I like that tabletop trains are more artistic, whereas the 7.5 inch or the 7.5 inch gauge railroading is actual machinery. Like I know a guy in Florida that I got to go back and see, where he hand builds his own 7.5 inch gauge Shay locomotives, and they're fascinating. But I mean, it's all about the machinery, but it's still fine scale, right? He has to do it right. He has to do it properly.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's no question about it. There is art in everything. Art is one of those universal words that can mean just about anything. And I'm sure people have seen other people's art that just is, you don't even know what it is, but it's their art, And I think that anything that you spend your time on that you're passionate about that becomes something, even if it's just to you, is art, and this is, art in motion, or just the mechanical end of the artistic side, where, yeah, there's definitely tolerances that need to be followed and guidelines that need to be met, but it still does something, and it just happens to be railroad related. So Here we are.
Yeah, the other big difference too is the bigger stuff. If you're not paying attention, you can get seriously hurt or hurt somebody.
Yeah, you can. It's heavy stuff.
Yeah, that's for sure. How heavy would one of those locomotives be? Like the locomotive you're building? Like, let's remind everybody, what is it you're building?
The locomotive that I've got a couple that I'm working on, but the one that has turned into more of a redevelopment and more of a project that I wanted it to be is the Rio Grande C16. That's the designation that it has the most famous, the most popular, most well-known designation for it was the C16. But it's a little narrow gauge consolidation. As delivered from Baldwin, they're known as a Class 60. And that it's just a good-looking little, very common locomotive. It was the SD40 of the narrow gauge for the Rio Grande anyway.
The SD40 of narrow gauge. So what do you mean so are you not building that anymore? Or?
No, I'm building it, but with the issue that came by is when I was originally building it, I was kind of grabbing castings and parts and pieces from all over, wherever I could that had already been manufactured and making them work for what I wanted. But in everything that I've done in developing the product line that we have for Prospector Models with Art and some of the other guys that I've worked with, we've got to a point now where it's like, why are we just trying to put something together or cobble something together out of a bunch of parts? We've and can completely develop our own line of castings. And so why don't we do this right? Why don't we do the research? Why don't we get gather all the reference material that we can and actually do this correctly instead of just kind of cobble it together with what's available or what we find. So that's kind of, we've restarted the project again and are completely redeveloping it as a one-off model, and we'll make it available for people that are interested in doing something like that through Prospector Models. And I plan on we're setting it up so that all our castings are able to be CNC machined. So a guy could order castings in the raw form or CNC castings ready to be put together. Or if they wanted, they could order a ready to run, fully done locomotive.
And who's going to build this locomotive?
We are. I am.
Who's we are?
Art is helping me a lot with 3D stuff. I'm doing a lot of the research for the historical value, historical mechanical value, with original drawings, trying to source the original drawings as best we can. And if not, going to one of three of the remaining C16s that are available to some degree to be measured and, photographed, researched on the actual prototype, the living models, the living examples. And my good friend and now partner up in Portland, who has the CNC shop, has been doing a lot of the drawings and CNC work, machine work to get this done.
So how far? So have you given up then on the original locomotive you were building?
Yeah, all the parts, all the castings, everything that I had originally to put this together are sitting on a shelf.
So that's like forget that. We're moving on to something else altogether now.
Yeah, I'll end up throwing that together into something and just sending it down the river to somebody else that wants to play with something that's not an exact model. It's a close enough. But we said, why are we messing around with just trying to put something together with a bunch of parts that we just came by? Let's just manufacture our own.
Okay. When you say we, I thought the locomotive was yours and yours alone.
It is. It has been. But in doing so, in doing this and trying to, produce a locomotive for the business, I've recruited a couple others, that were interested in the locomotive themselves. So they're helping fund the project in turn getting a locomotive. And so, developing it, is just time and money and a lot of effort. So yeah, it was my project to begin with, but it has become a business project.
And what's the name of the business? What's the name of the business? Is this Prospector Models? This is
Prospector Models. Yeah.
Okay. And how far along? How far along are you with the actual locomotive then?
I was talking with Grant earlier today, and we were getting ready to start water jet cutting frames. So we've got wheels done. We've got wheels, axles, axle boxes. We've got a lot of the drawings done. As far as actual parts that have been produced, right now we just have wheels, tires, axles, axle boxes, and we're getting ready to cut the frames, and then we'll be able to do frame spreaders, and we'll start being able to tie that together and start placing axles in the boxes in the frame. And hopefully, my goal is for Train Mountain in the end of June to have at least one rolling chassis there.
Wow, the end of June?
Yeah.
So like 2 months from now?
Would be 2 months from now, yeah.
That sounds like a pretty tall order.
It has been. I was hoping to get more done, but we had a CNC machine accident that we crashed the machine and ended up damaging one of the spindles. That it ended up costing about $10,000 and about 2.5-3 months to get fixed.
So is this all to do with AccuCraft trains, or is this somebody else?
No, well, that's another interesting side piece. But AccuCraft trains, me with Prospector Models and AccuCraft trains got together, and they ended up wanting Prospector Models to do work for them to produce drawings and that could be turned into product. They ended up buying that truck, that 20-ton Rio Grande truck from me, in a deal that we struck.
Like the drawings, you mean?
Well, the product itself, it's kind of a deal that we struck that we'll see if it works out or not. And if it does, we'll continue with more effort with them. But
okay, so this is the truck that you and Art Dutra drew together.
Yeah, Art drew it up, and we ended up getting it to a point where it could be produced.
Yeah, because you guys made like an actual 3D, full-size 3D model of it. 3D print.
Yeah, that model is now in the showroom of AccuCraft in their showroom, and they've been taking it on a tour, kind of promoting the product. And that piece is actually being produced at their foundry and machine shops in China now.
In China?
Yes.
Is anybody else here confused besides me?
No, not really.
No, you're not? Oh, okay.
They're looking around and finding places to get their castings and stuff done and keep it going while making some money for themselves, and away they go. And China turns out a lot of great castings.
Yeah, I guess they have. I guess AccuCraft they have their own they own a foundry in China, I guess, or have exclusive rights to one. and their side machine shop. So they have everything they have done is done over there. And so it's just one of their processes that they're doing. I remember I was on a meeting with them with their shop in China, and I was lost, man. They were sitting there screaming and yelling at each other, and I thought we did something wrong, but it turns out that that's just how they talk to each other.
So is AccuCraft Live Steam Station, or is that something else?
Yeah, that's a division of AccuCraft, yes.
Okay. Does AccuCraft have a website?
I think it's that Live Steam Station is what they're using now.
Huh. And they build 7.5-inch gauge cars or
Yes.
locomotives.
Yes.
Yeah. So somehow this truck that you and Art printed, that Art designed and Art printed in 3D, and it was a 20. What was it a truck for?
It's a 20-ton truck from the Rio Grande narrow gauge. It's one of the most common trucks that they had throughout the history of their narrow gauge.
Friction bearing. They were friction bearing trucks, weren't they?
Yeah.
You know, Dave, there's like you should do a video about bearings and friction bearings and regular bearings.
It's not a bad idea because it's not as commonly understood, I think, as people. You know, a lot of us just assume people know what a friction bearing is, or a what they call them gliding bearings, or a solid bearing, as opposed to roller bearings. I agree. Good call.
Yeah, actually, I kind of thought maybe you already had one of those coming up on Patreon. So,
well, we've got a video about maintaining bearings on an HS scale car.
Well, this is a movie in a sense.
Is it a movie?
It's kind of a mini movie, right?
Is it a mini movie?
It's a mini with a plot and a villain.
What else is new, Adam?
Where do you want to start?
Okay, so the live steam that you're building around your house, that might be long gone. You might have to get rid of that. You might have to sell your house due to certain circumstances that have developed.
Yeah.
So all that work. So how hard do you think it'll be to sell a house with a mountain on it?
That's been a big point of a big topic of discussion that we've had, and I've right now I don't think it's going to be that hard because the housing industry or real estate market or whatever they call it, I think it's crazy just everywhere. But in Utah right now is absolutely insane, and I think that I could probably have just about anything on my property and it wouldn't matter.
Oh, okay. So, and you've got track down and stuff too, don't you?
Track is down, bridges are down, waterfalls are flowing. My house is definitely a menagerie of all sorts of imagination, but I don't think it really matters at this point. I think it would sell pretty quick.
And what about tabletop trains? What's happening with those?
I haven't. I've got the HUN3 down in the basement. It's running, and at least in the little loop that I've got that I built. I haven't done any scenery or anything like that. I kind of just stopped with all that, and I've sold off a lot. I kind of reached one of those brick walls where I was just like, what am I doing? Like, well, I'm not, I kind of just got super bummed with everything. And I decided, you know what, just lock everything in the room, walk away, quit selling stuff and come back to it later. So I've boxed a lot of stuff up. I'm going to start dismantling that layout. Fortunately, I built it to be moved. I learned from my last one that that's definitely a necessity. I don't think I will ever build a layout, no matter how big or small, without the idea that it should be able to be moved. Right.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually and so like what kind of sections? Like what are the sections? Like 2x4, 5, 2x10 sections, or like how are they? Can you get them out the door?
I built everything everything I built, because some of the modules that I built are vertical, so they almost look like couch frames, unupholstered couch frames. I built everything out of plywood, but I made sure that I built everything outside in the garage and had to move it down.
Okay.
So that way I know that I could move it back out.
Even with the scenery on it and whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So all the modules themselves, like even the floor to ceiling scenery stuff, from track level up is a separate piece. So even my upper scenery is in modules. So even though I hadn't built it yet, but I designed that in a way that all the upper scenery could come off of the module and be moved, and then the lower whole section could be moved as well.
Oh, okay. Cool. Any other questions, boys? I mean, we got this echo going, so I mean, is there anything you want to tell us, Adam?
I don't know. Other than that, I'm definitely not quitting the hobby. I'm not. I've slowed down a bunch, but everybody around me still encouraged me to keep going, and they don't want to see me stop. Even though it feels like I have stopped. I think I hit one of those. I called it the Chris Brimley wall, where I was just like super unmotivated to do anything in the hobby, and I just kind of wasn't really happy with any of it, and it wasn't really filling my cup there for a little bit, you know.
Right, but now the 7.5-inch gauge has got you cranked up pretty good, though.
Yeah, that's always had me cranked up. I mean, that's hard to that's a real addiction there.
Yeah, well, I know our buddy Shane Murphy, the Cosmic Cowboy. We got to talk to him again. We haven't talked to him for years. I know, but I think he's building a layout again too. But he lives in Texas, East Texas. Although I think he's moved too, according to Chris Atkins. We got to get a hold of Shane Murphy. But that's what he always said. Once you get involved in the live steam, it's hard to go back. Although, you know, I think it's kind of like getting a speeder or a motorcycle or something. It's an add-on.
Well, I think once you're committed, I mean, especially with a big financial commitment, you know, because any of that stuff is definitely a financial commitment. It's hard to not be excited about it because it is a lot of money. You know, I mean, you throw a lot of money at something and you want to kind of stay, you know, turned on to it just because it's expensive. You don't want to get it, but there's something to it that's different than anything I've ever done. That it's just like feeds something. Then you just want to keep going.
Yeah,
you know,
I think you touched on it with the mechanical side of things. I mean, you really are fabricating something. You're building something that then becomes something that you can use. Like there's a real mechanical side to it, and that's something, you know, from having been to your house, Adam. That's just a talent you have. I mean, that's baked into your genome, you know.
Yeah. I mean, because I've always looked at it this way: is like I'm a tool guy. I love tools. Tools are something cool. You can do anything with the right tool. No matter how big or small it is. And this is like model building with snap-on tools. You know, it's like instead of having all your little small German screwdrivers and, you know, little Micromark lathes and mills, you know, I've got Bridgeport lathes and mills and snap-on tools. And, you know, I've got real full-size tools I'm building, you know, model trains with. And it kind of it checks every box for me, you know.
I would make an argument that the real building a model railroad of any scale, S scale, HO, N, O scale, I think it's basically the same thing. Is that you're working with your hands. I mean, I've had race cars when I was younger, and I've built model railroads, and it's all the same thing. It's you're making something. It's just the different size and the different tools that you're using. I mean, there's nothing more fun than working on my motorcycle and changing the shocks or taking a fender off and painting it or whatever. But, you know, it's very similar to building a switch, you know, hand laying a switch in HO scale or anything like that. Anything you do with your hands, it's very motivating.
Oh, yeah. I mean, creating something in anything, like you said, it doesn't matter what it is. If you're building something and you start with nothing and end up with something, it's definitely fulfilling. I mean that's why, I mean, hand laying track, you know, most guys are super intimidated by it, but the minute they do it, they're like, why haven't I done this before? Why didn't I start doing this a long time ago? You know, granted, it's a lot easier today to do it than it was, you know, pre-fast tracks or some of the other organizations that help, you know, some of the fine scale organizations that have helped supply the hobby with cool tools and product. But, you know, it's I think the more effort, the more time you put into something, the greater satisfaction you're going to have.
Yeah. I mean, that works with anything that you build. Anything. Yeah. I mean, Dave, you can relate to that. You've put in so much time and effort into your model railroad. I mean, you must like working with your hands and building things.
I understood, and I totally agree. Like basically, there's something to be said for the process that you go through to create something. And anytime, for me, I love the social aspect too, that it brings people together to operate it. And that, thanks to Rich Wisniewski, it actually brings people together to maintain it too, with the whole setup night idea. But I think there's a lot to be said for the machinery side of things. I mean, you're fabricating something, and in a world where so many of us are managing people, or so many of us are, using paper or a computer to accomplish our work, there's something very satisfying about actually creating something with your hands. It brings back sort of a hardwired experience from a different generation where there was more of us that were farming, or you look at what Josh Bowman does. Josh Bowman actually works with his hands every single day, and Adam is as a member of the UTU and working a train, you've got a craft as well for your work, but the hobby it scratches a different itch. It fills a different bucket.
Yeah, it was always a dream to have a steam locomotive, and it was never really necessarily 2.5-inch scale or 7.5-inch gauge or 1.5-inch scale or even just, live steam G gauge, I wanted a real one. Like I wanted a full size one. I mean, I
love it.
Like I grew up knowing that it's possible. I had a friend, Dan Markoff, that has the Eureka, and that's a full size 3-foot gauge locomotive. He has it in his backyard. I grew up around that, knowing that it's possible, to do that. And I remember at one time, me and my dad were looking at these narrow gauge chassis in Michigan. We found this little consolidation chassis in the backfield of the Huckleberry. I think it's the Huckleberry Road. I can't remember, but and we looked at doing that. I remember him being super serious about it. So it was never an unrealistic idea, until I grew up and realized, yeah, it's kind of unrealistic. It's like there's not very many. It's not probable. It's possible. It's possible, but it's not probable. And so that's when I was like, I'm just going to build me one of these, 2.5-inch scale locomotives, but I'm going to make it as realistic and historically accurate as possible. And it's just getting easier to do that with technology. With the technology that we have, it's amazing. I took a bunch of our patterns and 3D prints out to the foundry a week or two ago, and it was cool. I'm dating this girl I'm dating right now. I drug her along with me, and that was actually a really fun day trip date because she got really into the whole, like, holy cow, this is super cool, this foundry and everything that was going on. And I was seeing how excited she was getting about it. I was like, oh man, this is I'm in trouble with her now. She's really into it. But this guy gave me this huge, they gave us this 3-hour tour of this foundry and all the processes they have, and really spent the time with me on how to produce the proper patterns and different types of patterns and different castings and things that I could do to make things easier for him. And there's a whole education that I got right there that I wasn't expecting, that just changed so many things and made me think in 5 different ways now that I'm going to be able to do a lot more stuff that I didn't think that I was going to be able to do relatively easily, And
what foundry is this now?
Well, they used to be in downtown Salt Lake, and it was called.
Who are you using it for? Like, I thought you were using the AccuCraft foundry. What is this for?
This is for my stuff. This is for Prospector Model stuff. The AccuCraft, the dealings with AccuCraft is kind of like a whole different division of Prospector Models. Like, I've kind of separated the two.
Right.
I thought there for a while I was going to be able to kind of use AccuCraft for everything or most of things, and I've realized and decided that I have got to maintain my own. I got to maintain my own thing. I need to keep my own identity. I need to keep, I need to keep something for myself and not necessarily farm all this stuff out through another company.
So what is your own thing?
The freight cars, the freight cars are a Prospector model thing. These locomotives are going to be a Prospector model thing. Really, in all reality, the only thing that AccuCraft has of Prospector models right now is just that truck.
Okay. And so what are you hoping to have? Are you going to have the cars at this, what do they call it? What's the mountain thing called?
The train mountain triannual.
Yeah. I would say that this Mill Creek, I'm looking at the track plan for Mill Creek in Ohio.
Pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say that Train Mountain would be hard pressed to match this. I think this is one.
I think it'd be the other way around, honestly.
I don't know, man. The
Mill Creek Central. Don't get me wrong. The Mill Creek Central is a fantastically amazing railroad, but by sheer footage, as far as how much track is there, how big the actual area is, and just the overall feel. I mean, I think Train Mountain has them beat.
Yeah, be interesting to see. I gotta get to Train Mountain. This is in I can't even say it. Coshocton, Ohio, or however you say that.
Right. Yeah, and I'm just basing everything off the fact that I've been to Train Mountain. I am definitely going to get to Ohio to the Mill Creek, but I do know people that have been to both, and I think everything has their pros and cons, but as far as sheer size, I think Train Mountain has it nailed.
So are these the two biggest in the lower 48 is Mill Creek and Train Mountain?
I know there's a couple others that are pretty good size, but I think I don't think necessarily size is the biggest contributing factor to make a quality railroad. I think scenery is one, overall just how it's built, constructed, the club, most all these are involved with the club, how the clubs are formed, how they associate with the public. I think there's so many different qualities that go into a class, let's say class 1 or a world-class operation,
this Mill Creek is east of Columbus, Ohio, about halfway between Columbus and Pittsburgh, just north of Interstate 70 at Zanesville, Ohio. Not far from Wheeling, West Virginia. To the north, I guess it would be, let's see, to the north, there's, south of Cleveland, east of Columbus. Yeah, so probably dead south of Cleveland by a couple hours. Wow, I got to go there. It's not that far away from me. I got to make a point of, Dave, we got to make a point of going there.
It sounds awesome. I've only ever seen it online, but I would join. That sounds great. Yeah. That's the kind of thing my kids would love to do too.
Yeah, exactly. Your kids would love to do it. Do you think any of your kids will want to do bull riding?
Maybe. Probably not, though.
Right.
I think it's some of that's the exposure, but the 7.5-inch gauge trains, they haven't seen that yet. God help us all.
Yeah, good luck, man. Yeah, take them to Mill Creek.
You're going to need a bigger yard.
Yeah, you're going to need a bigger property.
Right. You are 100% right.
You know what? We got to get you out of that place, get you into a proper middle America. What do you guys call them? You call them ranch houses. We call them. Do you call them bungalows or ranch houses in New Jersey?
We usually call them McMansions, the bigger new ones.
Well, no,
there's a lot of larger estates.
No. I'm talking about what do they call them? Why can't they call them bungalows or in south of the border, Bruce?
I think they're ramblers.
What do you guys call a one-story house, a 2,000 square foot one-story house with a two-car?
Yeah, those are ranch houses. That's what we call those ranches.
That's a rambler. That's what I've always heard of as a rambler.
A rambler.
Rambler.
We call them bungalows up here. All right, we're going to call
a bungalow.
Yeah, and there's no such. You can't possibly have a ranch house in New Jersey.
I know that's what they call them. Isn't that odd? I've always thought that was odd.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, that's what we got to get you is like a 2,000 square foot ranch house / bungalow / one-story house, and with a gigantic basement. And start that puppy over again. That'd be awesome. You're the perfect age to do that. Let's do that. Let's do that this weekend.
All right.
Okay, we're going to end this because there's an echo, and I don't know how bad it is, and I don't want to go on for much longer. So we'll make this a segment. This, Bruce, This is the one we're going to couple up with Boy George, the mayor.
there we go.
The mayor of Hornepayne. The whatever else we call. What else we call him? Four banger. Yep, all those names. That's what we're going to do. The mayor of Hornepayne is going to be coming up next after this particular segment. This is a version of the All-Star Variety Hour with our buddy Adam Pinellas, catching up with him, and then we're going to hear the mayor of Hornepayne.
Subway chimes, go!
What's news, George?
Oh, it's been a couple of small developments at work.
Yeah.
Since we last spoke.
Yeah. What are the developments at work since you last spoke?
Well,
is it still 320 kilometer round trip?
Yep. That hasn't changed.
That must be slowly killing you, isn't it?
Yeah, little by little. But there is potentially an opportunity to come to Belleville coming up soon. So
that'd be
excellent if that worked out.
I think we had that chat last time, though. You were already counting on that. Push your microphone a little closer to your mouth. How come you're dressed like Johnny Cash tonight?
That is a good question. Actually, my sweater's gray. This doesn't show up too well in the light. But yeah.
Can you say, hello, I'm the mayor of Hornepayne.
Hello, I'm the mayor of Hornepayne.
Oh, you know what?
Sounds like a cross between the Fat Controller and Johnny Cash.
The Fat Cash.
Push it up towards your nose a bit. There you go. Now we're getting there. Well, we got microphone. We're always working the microphones, Bruce? Getting them just in the right spot.
It's all about the audio when you're doing an audio podcast.
It's all about the audio when you're doing an audio, because if it was video, you could mouth read.
That's true.
Read lips. So George, we're here. We're talking to our buddy George from Belleville. He is the mayor of Hornepayne. I know what I was going to tell you guys. So I was texting with our buddy Josh Bowman, who lives very close to George, not very far away.
Yes, he does.
He does. That's true.
And George, if you ever need your agricultural equipment repaired, boom, he's the guy.
I've been told Josh is the man to see.
Josh's ag repair. He fixed my motorcycle stand.
Did he?
Yep.
Did you pick that up yet?
No, I haven't picked it up yet. I should do that next week.
There you go. You grab some garlic while you're there.
I got garlic last year.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a big wad of garlic.
Yeah.
But anyways, he got some lumber today because he's getting a guy to build a brand new shop for him. And it's a bit of a slow process right now, as with everything on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent me a picture because they had some lumber dropped off. And you know where it came from?
Where's that?
Hornepayne lumber.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Beauties. I'll send you the picture. I'll send you that.
Yeah, please do. I'm curious. I know I didn't stop at the mill when I was up there, but I did drive by it more than a few times, and it's a pretty big place. They got a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah?
Yeah, but it's a big operation.
Do they ever have railroad cars come in there?
I think they used to.
Oh, really? They don't? They truck it all now?
It's all by truck. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. It's a busy place. A lot of stuff going in and out. I think they were looking at putting a spur back in at some point.
Right.
But right now it's all truck.
Wow, look at that. And I would think as the mayor of Hornepayne, you would have, you'd want them to put a spur back in there.
Absolutely. I'm still pushing for it.
So
they don't really get back to me, but
Yeah. So how long has it been since I talked to you? Like a month, 2 months?
Probably a month. Yeah, a month and a half, give or take.
Okay.
It's been a minute.
So what's happening? Anything happening? So this is the way podcasts happen with George now. I usually get a text that day. Hey, you want a podcast tonight? Let's podcast tonight. And I'm like, well, actually, I was doing stuff, but let me rearrange my life to accommodate George.
Yeah.
It's very generous of you.
It is.
I'm very benevolent of the overlord.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a busy guy, The overlord's got people to see and places to go. So what's the big news you wanted to tell me? You said stuff has been happening.
Yeah, so I didn't want to, as per our previous discussions, I didn't want to mislead you and let you think a lot had happened, but a couple of things have happened at work since we last spoke. So when we last talked, I was working the road switchers on the Toronto South end of things.
That's right.
However, since then, things have changed again. I'm now working on the north end of Toronto, which is actually its own terminal. And I am the regular conductor on one of the trains to North Bay.
Oh, really?
Nice.
I've gone to the long haul freights now. Things move pretty quick. I got the north end first, and then while I was training, a bid came up for a permanent position on train 451 is the one that goes north, and 450 is the one that goes south along the Bala and the Newmarket sub. And we are allowed to bid things while we're training because we're not trainees per se. We're familiarizing on new territory. We're not still doing conductor training. So we are allowed to bid the jobs when they come up. And it looked like for the longest time I wasn't going to win anything because I was, I think, third or fourth on the bid. But then the day the bid closed, for some reason, everyone else took their names off except for me. So I ended up winning it by default.
So by training, you mean training on the territory, not training to be a conductor?
That's right, training on the territory, yeah.
Yeah, so you're just, okay, so you were training on the Toronto North Yard run.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this job came up, so you bid it, and boom.
So I've gone from, I would have been working the spare board, but I'm no longer on the spare board. I have a regular schedule. And I only have to go to work twice a week now because we go, we're away for 24 to 36 hours typically on these long haul freights because Toronto North has no yard work. Toronto North has a road switcher, two road switchers, one in Toronto, one in Huntsville. And then we do the long haul freights between Toronto and Sudbury and Toronto North Bay. That's it.
Oh, that's what Toronto North does. Yeah.
And then Toronto South does everything else.
Okay. So what's the difference between Toronto North and train 451? Like, what's the difference between those two? Oh, I see. You would have been on the spare board of Toronto North.
Yeah. 451 falls under Toronto North's purview.
Okay. But you would have been on the spare board. So that's the excitement.
That's right. That's the excitement is I won the assignment.
So how long do you get to keep it?
So right now it looks like there's nobody else around because the thing is I'm the second most junior person in the terminal now. So I could get moved at any time. But the thing is, it's a lot harder to bump somebody off a permanent job unless we get a transfer in from somewhere else. And there's not any ability of that right now. So at the rate things are going, it looks like I'm going to hold it till at least April.
Well, that's cool. So I give you
middle of April. Yeah, whatever.
A little bit of stability is nice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How did you end up as being just the second junior guy to people keep? Because for a while there was a lot of guys around, wasn't there?
Yeah. So things have moved fairly fast. There's been a lot of hiring. Toronto South has gone quite junior. And it used to be, I was talking to one of my engineers and he said that it would take guys 15, 20 years to get to the north end because of how desirable the job. It's essentially, you build the train in McMillan Yard and you get on and that's it. You just don't really have a lot to do else other than get it across the road.
Right.
So it's very desirable work. And it pays considerably more.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, because we're paid by the mile, not by the hour. And the rate is different. It's the same pay system that Hornepayne uses because Hornepayne's the same thing. It's just get on and get off.
Right. It's our Bruce. It sounds like our young man is life is improving.
I would say so.
I would agree.
I'm watching.
And North Bay is a bit more of a metropolis compared to Hornepayne, so there's some things to do there when you get there.
It's just a tad. It's honestly it's quite nice. There's no bunkhouse in Hornepayne, so they put us up in the Best Western. So that's quite nice.
There's no bunkhouse in North Bay, you mean?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's no bunkhouse in North Bay. Sorry.
Right. And I'm looking at a video of CN 451 at Huntsville in December of 2017. There's semaphore signals still at Huntsville.
Huntsville, as far as I know, is the only station that still has train order semaphores at the station.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. I actually taken a couple photos of it. It's a neat place.
You've actually taken photos of it.
Yeah, because I was up there training. Because there's a road switcher that works out of Huntsville. There's a few customers around the town.
Right.
So when we were finished, and I'll have to find them. I'll put them up on the fans page.
Yeah.
When we were finished for the day, the lighting was quite good. So I shot a couple pictures of the station before I left.
Oh, okay. So I see here 2342 is the lead of this particular train I'm looking at. Looks like it's one of those M420s. It's got the 4 windows across the front.
23. What was the number? 23?
42.
42. I have to look it up. I'm not quite sure what. I think that's an ES44, but I.
Oh, okay.
I
Well,
could be wrong.
Oh no, it's got 2 windows. I think it looks like.
Oh yeah, that would make more sense. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is. So that's cool. So then, you only have to make that round trip twice a week now.
That's right.
Well, that's a lot better.
Which is saving me considerably a lot more money on gas.
Yeah, I'll bet.
no kid expected these days.
That's less than especially right now. But that's less than the burden quite a lot. And the trip is really nice. I mean, we're going through Bracebridge and Gravenhurst and the Muskokas and all this wonderful cottage country north of Toronto. For anyone that would be interested in looking it up, it's a great spot.
Nice
are you going through Perry Sound?
No, we go past Perry Sound.
Oh, okay.
The Newmarket sub breaks off from the Bala goes through Perry Sound, but the Newmarket sub breaks off at Washeka, which is just south of Perry Sound, and we kind of cut over a little more northeast.
Washeka isn't just south of Perry Sound; it's like way south of Perry Sound.
It's about 40-ish miles.
Yeah, well, that's not just okay. Well, all right.
Fair enough. You're not wrong. It is some distance.
But I was thinking of that great bridge in Perry Sound. But that's a CP line, isn't it?
It is, but I have run across it.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, because the way that it works on the ballast sub is it's what's called a DRZ, which is a directional running zone. So what happens is all the CP and CN trains take there's a junction at CP. It's called Reynolds, and on CN it's called Boyne. Just south of Perry Sound, and the CN trains cross over to the CP side and go north on CP's Perry Sound sub, and then the CP trains come down on the Bala because there's another junction at a place called St. Cloud, which is just south of Sudbury, and they cross over onto the Bala sub and take the Bala southbound, and then cross back over to the Mac tier sub at Boyne. So we use each other's tracks going north and south. It saves a lot of meets that way, obviously.
Yeah. So you guys make the train and then take it to North Bay?
Correct.
Because that's pretty unusual, isn't it? Where crews make their own train? Do they go a long distance?
So the way that it works is the train is usually built for us in Mac Yard, so we just have to kind of tack on and go. Occasionally there's a double over, so going, putting 2 tracks together or whatever.
Right.
But that doesn't happen very often.
Oh, okay.
But in North Bay, because 451 and 450 are the only trains that run on the Newmarket sub, other than that road switcher out of Huntsville. Once we get to North Bay, we just park the engines, go to the hotel, and come back to the same engines, and then leave. And then we build the train in North Bay before we go.
Okay, so you built the train in North Bay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here it is.
The little CN yard and the Ontario Northland yard are right next to each other.
Okay.
And there's a Y, so we pull into the Ontario North because it's transfer traffic. That's what it is. It's an interchange basically. We pull the traffic into the Ontario Northland side and go back to our own side, and then the Ontario Northland brings our cars to the CN yard, and then we pick them up there.
So is it a pretty small train then?
Yeah, typically. If you think about, we can get 13,000 foot trains on the ballast sub going up north and then to points west. 451 and 450 are generally, I haven't seen one more than 2,800 feet, give or take. But they are heavy. We can have a short, and I've been told by my engineers that the difficult trains are not the long, heavy ones, because they sort of, they mellow out a lot on the hills, because you'll get one part going down and one part going up sort of thing. So it kind of floats. Right. But the difficult trains are the ones that are short and heavy, because when you come down the hill, the whole thing's running in on you.
Oh, okay. I get you. Yeah, that's something you have to learn. Here now I'm looking at CN 451 at South River. I'm back in June 2013. That's cool. It's a cool shot. Look at that. I wonder if George is on this one. I'm going to wave, see if he waves back. You know what you got to do now? You got to send me a text when the spring comes, and I'm going to be trackside. Me and Bruce will be trackside, and we'll give you a big wave as you're going by.
I will definitely do that.
Go up and see him at Washago.
Yeah, exactly.
And see, the nice part is because I'm on a regular schedule, I'll be able to tell you exactly when I'll be there.
Yeah, how cool is that? Now that, George, finally, after you've beaten me to death like a rented mule, that is going to be fun. I am going to Bruce, I am looking forward this summer and spring and summer. What we're going to do 2 or 3 times. We'll get George to text us, and we'll jump in we'll either jump in the F-150 or we'll jump in the old SUV, and we'll head over and give George a big wave, and we'll videotape it and everything. That'll be fun.
Exactly.
That'd be more fun than a barrel of monkeys, I think.
Well, at least as much fun as a barrel of monkeys.
Well, that would be a lot of fun. That'll be a lot, because George will be sticking his hand out the window,
giving us the wave.
Yeah, giving us the wave.
You'd be talking
I absolutely will. If I see
talking to his engineer, say, "Hey, salute these guys."
If I see anybody trackside, I always try and give them a wave. There's actually quite a few people along the Bala.
Yeah. But you say there's only that's all it's used for? Is the Bala sub? Is that train going up to North Bay?
The Bala sub is everything going east-west, but the Newmarket sub from Washago is just the North Bay train. However, that may soon change because the Ontario Northland is looking at putting passenger service back between North Bay and Toronto.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, they ran a test train a couple of months. I guess it was November. I think they ran a test train down to Toronto, and it was a big hit. So I think they're looking at putting service back permanently.
I wonder what a test train is. Like, you get people to volunteer to be passengers and see how it goes.
I don't even know if they carried any passengers. I just think they wanted to see if it would work to slot in with all the GO trains and stuff. Because of course, when you get down into the city, you're all competing for lights and everything, right? So because they take it right down to Union Station. So
why is it called? So for everybody around the world, it's called the Newmarket Sub. But Newmarket is a suburb of Toronto that's about 20 miles north of Toronto, the city limits of Toronto, Ontario. And then where he's saying that it breaks off, the Newmarket Sub, that's like 30, 40 miles north of Newmarket. So I wonder why it's called the Newmarket Sub.
So the Newmarket Sub used to run continuously from Toronto all the way to Cape Real. It was another way in. Now, what's happened in the past, I guess, 20 years is the Newmarket Sub still runs north from Union, but it only runs as far as, where is it? I guess it goes to Barrie. I believe that's the line the Barrie trains take.
Right.
Is the lower half of the Newmarket. And then the Newmarket between Barrie and Washago was pulled up.
Right.
So it still exists, but it's broken in 2 pieces. So then it ends at North Bay, but it used to go all the way to Gabriel.
Right. So you used to go through Barrie and around the lake and around the bay and up that way.
Yeah, that's right.
So where do you go then when you get out of the yard? So where do you head to? Like, whereabouts?
So the way that it goes is we leave the yard, we go east on the York Sub from Toronto. We go down to a place called Doncaster where there's a diamond.
Right.
And that's where the Bala Sub meets the York Sub. And we go north on the Bala Sub from there. And then it's the Bala all the way to Washago. Then the Newmarket breaks off at Washago and we go into our dark territory because the Newmarket doesn't have CTC. It's all what we call OCS. So it's all based on warrant. We have to get track warrants and things like that to run on it. There's no lights.
Cool. So there's paperwork involved.
Lots of paperwork, yeah.
So what's OCS stand for?
I believe it's occupational control, or it's occupational control system. I believe is what it stands for.
This is really interesting, George. I think my hours and hours and of this is really interesting.
Do you mean to tell me that the pain I put you through is finally coming worth it?
It's finally starting to pay off.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah, so I'm looking at okay, so you go through Maple, King, Cherry, Aurora, Hon Landing, Bradford, Guilford. Oh yeah, see but it only goes. Oh, that's the old sub. That's the old sub.
That's the old sub. Yeah.
I'm trying to find a map of it. I wonder where I can find
the part that got pulled up was the part between Barrie and Longford, which in Longford is just south of Washego.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder. I can't find a map of it though. That'd be cool to find a map of it so that when we're talking,
I'll try and find one. I'm sure we've got some. There's a lot of old paperwork we still have that still shows a lot of the trackage. I'll see what I can find.
Yeah, just while we're talking, that's all I was thinking.
Oh yeah,
cool. That's cool. So all right, so now you only got to drive back and forth. And do you think you'll be able to keep this job? Do you feel like you'll be able to keep it, maybe, or?
I think so.
You hope so.
I don't imagine that I'll be able to keep it past change of card in April, which is when all the jobs go up for bid and everybody rebids whatever they want. But the thing is that 450 and 451, because of the work we have to do at North Bay,
right?
They're less. And the thing is, it isn't as far either. Cape Real to Toronto is 276 miles.
Right.
North Bay to Toronto is only 206.
Oh, okay.
So you don't get paid quite as much to go to North Bay.
Oh.
But the trade-off is that you're back faster.
Right. So guys who are looking for money are more likely to take the Cape Real job. And
that's right.
And then it gives younger guys like you an opportunity to get a good job because it's a little less pay, but you're just as happy because now you got a regular job. That's
right. So, I mean, who's to say what's going to happen in the spring? I don't know. I don't expect that I'll be able to keep it, but I'm 99% sure I'll be able to keep it at least till then.
So when do you
the change of card, I believe, is April 20th or something like that. It's towards the end of April.
So what days are you working this week coming up?
So my regular schedule is we go out Tuesday morning. Our pool opens at 2:00 in the morning. So they can call us anytime between midnight and 8:00 in the morning, because they can give us a 12:00 call for 2 or an 8:00 call for 10, but they can't call us past 8. So we go out Tuesday morning and then we come back either Tuesday night, depending on how fast we get out, or Wednesday morning.
So
and then
what are you doing on Wednesday, Bruce?
Don't know.
I think we should be chasing this train, buddy, before he ends up
losing it.
Yeah, in case he loses the job, we want to make sure we at least see him once. In case he loses, I'm going to be very confident and say that you're going to be able to keep this job.
It's supposed to be a partly cloudy and fairly warm day on Wednesday, so
that's perfect. So, do you come back down during the daylight on Wednesday?
It depends, because what happens is that because we're the only crew in North Bay,
right?
Whenever we get off rest, we leave. Basically, there's no wait.
Right.
We can just go. So if we get out early on Tuesday and we make it to North Bay, I don't know, around lunchtime or just before lunch or whatever, then we'll be leaving North Bay probably sometime around 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and then we'll probably be going through Washego sometime really early in the morning. So you probably would be better off to catch us coming up on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah? You think on Tuesday we got a chance of catching you somewhere?
I think so, yeah, probably. They've been calling us pretty late on Tuesday as of recently.
What do you think? What are you doing on Tuesday, Bruce?
Probably about the same thing I'm doing Wednesday. Not much.
Let's see, what's the weather is supposed to be like for...
It's supposed to be not bad Tuesday either.
All right. Oh, yeah, it's partly sunny.
-1, not quite as warm, but still not bad.
34 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, you know what? You know what we can do, Bruce? If we take the SUV, we can sit in it and with the engine running, windows cracked, and then when he's getting closer, then we'll get out so we won't get that cold.
There you go.
We don't need
and the nice part is if you guys actually...
But by the way, the F-150 has a heater in it as well.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just so you know.
All right.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Bruce. Congratulations on the new truck. I saw that recently.
Yes. Well, thank you. It's we like it.
Are you enjoying it?
Oh, love it.
How many liters does it hold? 100?
It's only got, I think, an 88-liter tank, 80 or 88-liter tank on it. It's not as big as the other one, which was 122.
Wow.
So it's less painful to fill it.
I think my Toyota Tundra had a 100-liter tank in it.
Yeah.
And I was standing at the pumps today thinking, holy smokes.
Yeah, I made a big mistake today.
You bought a truck?
No, I filled up with fuel.
Oh,
I left Toronto this morning thinking I was doing myself a favor by getting out of the city,
uh-huh.
and then I made the mistake of stopping at one of the en routes.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like running on fumes at that point, so I had to fill up. And I think it was one. I think it was 180.
180.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I could have. Yeah, I think it was 181.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a little
181.
high.
181 per Canadian liter.
Yes.
All right.
Canadian liters.
So now let me ask you a question. I don't want you to get in trouble. Are you allowed to text us while you're going along and tell us where you're at?
We're not allowed to use our phones, but I can definitely text you before we go on duty.
Okay, and give you
kind of a window for sure.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
It's a date.
Because once we get called, like
yeah,
we know we're going.
Yeah, and you can use your phone before you get on the train in North Bay.
Absolutely.
I think we should do that, Bruce.
Sure.
And the nice part is too that going through Washego, we're restricted to 25 miles an hour.
Oh.
So we'll be coming by nice and slow.
Yeah.
So
sweet.
Definitely get a good wave.
So is that where we're going to see you then? Is Washego? It's a done deal. From Washego, where do you go through Washego? Where do you go from Washego?
From Washego, that's where of course we split off onto the Newmarket, and then from Washego we go up to Gravenhurst, and then Bracebridge, and then Huntsville.
So just past Washego, you go to the right instead of going straight. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah, right before the bridge.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see where Washego is here. There's Aurelia. There's Washego. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Let's do it. This is going to be now. See, this is finally. Yeah, I like this. This is. Oh, I see. There you are. You go. There's anywhere. Yeah, we can get pretty near the tracks here.
Well, you can get right.
There's a crossing right in town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Is there?
Yep.
You get right into the station there, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they get a little tiny via station.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's do it then. Washego it is. Because it also crosses Quentin Street, and they got a couple of sidings in there. They got a big long siding. Oh, you know what? This is the one that crosses the Trent Severn Waterway, I think.
It does.
The Bala does, yeah. Just beyond Washego there's the I guess it's a swing bridge, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The old swing bridge.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the Bala one, but you go the other way.
That's the Bala one. Yeah, we go the other way.
Oh, another cool place to catch it would be on Sparrow Lake Road at Hamlet. Port Stanton. That's a cool spot. I've been there. I've been train watching there in Hamlet and on Sparrow Lake Road. Sparrow Lake is Port Stanton is a great place to watch it because how fast do you go through Port Stanton?
Oh, Port Stanton's on the Bala too. That's the Gabriel line.
You have no idea where you're going.
I do. I'm looking at it right now. Hamlet's just south of Port Stanton.
Okay.
Right near the Forest Glen Resort.
Oh, I see. Okay. I see what you're doing. You're crossing the other river, just up the road from Washego.
Yeah, we peel off to the right, just beyond Washego. We go past. What's the closest road here? There's a place called Canal Road. We go up past that, and then we do cross over the Severn River, but it's a smaller bridge.
Right. Yeah. All right. It's a date.
Done deal.
We're done deal on Tuesday. We're going to come watch George on a train. This is an absolute no-brainer.
What's your guess right now? What the time might be?
Yeah, let's take a guess.
If I had to take a guess,
you have to. We're going to make it
probably sometime between 5 and 6 in the morning.
What?
Maybe later
on Tuesday morning.
Yeah. No, that's if they order us right at the beginning of our window. If they don't, then it'll be after breakfast. Because the thing is, it could take us 2 hours just to get out of the yard. Right, but you never know that going in.
Lionel, are you sensing an issue here?
Yeah, I'm sensing an issue already.
Yeah, Lionel doesn't do early.
Well, I'm not getting we're not getting up at 4 a.m. to see him go by in the dark.
Well, yeah, that's why I'll let you know. If we get ordered super early, I'll give you a heads up, and so you don't have to get up. But if we get ordered late, then come on out. And if not Tuesday, then on Friday maybe.
Okay, so then I think Bruce's question would be, if you get ordered late, what would a window be?
Probably be somewhere more like around lunchtime or 1 o'clock, between like 12 and 1, probably.
Now he's in our ballpark, Bruce.
Now he's in the home field for string.
Yeah. Well, he's in the home field. Well, I guess you like getting up do you like getting up at 4 o'clock to go watch trains?
I get up earlier than that to go bird banding, so yeah,
I guess
wouldn't bother me really.
All right, yeah.
Well, don't be getting up too early on my account. There's always the next trip.
Yeah.
And you know what else we can do, Lon? Like coming back, there's that candy shop on the southbound 11 just past Weber's there. We can hit that, and there's a plethora of candy in there.
Is it still there?
It is. They closed the northbound one, but the southbound one was still there.
Oh, okay.
Gene and I were in that last year and spent about $90
On candy.
Yikes! On candy. It's tasty candy though.
Yeah, that would be very exciting, George, to see you on the train.
Exactly.
Oh, we'll definitely make it work. If like I say, like I wouldn't ever expect you guys to get up super early if we go out first thing. But if we get ordered later, then you definitely make it work.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm excited already. I hope you get called late on Tuesday then.
We have been lately. I had no reason to doubt it, but never know with the railway, right?
Right, exactly. So you're starting to ease into the whole thing. I guess we're coming up to it. Have you been working for them for more than a year now?
Yeah, I've already crossed over a year of service.
All right.
I was officially, as of November 30th, that was my year.
Wow, that's cool. And now you get this cool job riding the rails back and forth. You know what North Bay's famous for?
What's that?
It's where minivans go to die. I rode up there once on my motorcycle. I forget what we were doing, but anyways, I rode up on my motorcycle and we went through North Bay, and there was like 1 million old minivans. They're famous. Their best structure is a parking garage at the mall, and 1 million old minivans.
Really?
Yeah. That's about it. North Bay is not. What's the Best Western like?
It's quite nice. I really like it. It's a smaller one. It's only a 2-story. But really nice hotel, excellent staff. They're always super, super nice. They're getting the CN crews in there literally every day. So they're very used to working with us, which is great.
Okay, what other crews would they get in there?
So there's 3 turns. And so I'm on turn 2. And then there's 1 and 3 for this 451 and 450 because the train goes out every day.
Oh, the train goes out every day.
Every day, yeah. So turn 1 is Monday and Thursday, and then turn 2 is the Tuesday and Friday, and then turn 3 is the Wednesday and the Sunday.
Wow! So turn 2 is a good job.
I think so. Yeah, it's probably best turn I could think of because I have my Saturday night, and then I have Sunday, Monday. Yeah,
exactly. Party hardy.
That's it.
I bet you're more. So how long have you been doing this job?
I've only worked it twice since I've finished training. But I mean, I've been holding it because of course if you bid it during training, they'll hold it for you until you finish. But I've been holding it since I guess just before. I think it was like February 10th or 11th is when the bid closed. So just before Valentine's Day.
Why do they have you training the area?
So, because of the directional running zone, CP requires that anyone running on their trackage has 3 training trips on their trackage before they're allowed to run solo. Because our territory, with the exception of the Newmarket, the whole BAL is all CTC. But beyond McTier, CP's Perry Sound sub is all ABS. It's absolute block signals. So it's the same thing. Even though they're signaling, we still have to get all of our written authorities and everything to run on the trackage. And they want you to have a certain amount of trips before they're willing to let you do it without a trainer.
Oh, okay. So you gotta do that and get trained, and then you can.
Yeah. And they want us to familiarize on the territory too, to make sure that we know where we're going. And the other part of it is too, and I mean, I'm sure this will probably make Adam and Emery and Spoon and all of our resident engineers laugh because we have this thing called CLO. It's Conductor Locomotive Operator. And basically what it is that you're kind of as a substitute engineer for short periods of time when the engineer needs a break, because on those long trips, I mean, if you're on the train for 12 hours, you got to get up and stretch and eat and go to the bathroom and all the rest of it.
Right. So
the conductors are all trained to run the engine and run the train during that time period. Okay. So that was that was a week of class, and then 2 weeks in the field that I was doing that too.
All right. So okay.
So
we're gonna see him, Bruce, somewhere around milepost 98.7.
There you go.
that's right.
That's the yard limit. CTC begins towards Longford. So CTC, it says here on the map, CTC begins just past 98.7.
Yeah, so 98.6 is where CTC starts because that's where the plant is. That's where the switch is between the Newmarket and the Bala.
Okay.
Mile 99 on the Newmarket sub.
So is it CTC once you get past Washago? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the CTC starts at Washago when you're coming off the Newmarket,
Right.
and then there's the signal. There's a signal at the switch, and then there's an advanced signal. I don't know, about a mile up the Newmarket. That's the advanced light to Washago. So that's where the block starts, but CTC doesn't officially start until that mile 99 at the switch.
Okay. This is very exciting. I hope we get to see you on Tuesday.
We'll make it work. We'll find a time.
Well, you can't make it work if it's I'm not doing it at 5 a.m.
No, but I mean, it's lately we haven't been getting ordered early, so I mean, we have to be prepared for that eventuality. But at some point, we'll get ordered later, and when that happens, we'll definitely make sure we cross paths out there.
Well, what if I'm not around?
Well, I'll get you the next time.
Yeah.
I don't book off very much, so I'll be going up as much as I can.
But you might lose the job in 4 weeks from now. You got to make it
probably be closer to 6.
Oh, okay. Do you go through?
But I mean,
do you go through? Do you run the FEC and through Bunnell, Florida, or whatever?
No, but I'd like to.
Yeah. Because if we don't make it this work and you don't hold the job,
you never know.
Exactly. Well, that's what we're hoping for. We're going to go over it that you're holding the job. So Muskoka or Washago is quite the busy little spot, then, isn't it?
It used to be a hell of a busy spot. Lots of action.
Yeah, because the ballast sub and the Newmarket sub come together in Washago, right?
That's right.
And then they split apart again.
Well, they used to, right? But that section's all gone now.
Right. Yeah. Right. That section to Barry's all gone. Man, that would have been a cool train watching spot.
Oh, it was. In its day, it's a great place. And
yeah.
And I knew some engineers around CN, and a lot of times they'd be coming south, and they never knew till they got to Washago which side of the lake they were going to come down, because CN kind of treated each of those lines sort of like a double main track, so they could, there's heavy traffic on the one subdivision, they'd run them down through Barry, or
right,
heavy traffic through Barry, they run them down the other side of the lake.
So you know what we got to do, Bruce, after if we get lucky enough to see him, we'll have to do an epilogue.
Yes.
To attach to this particular part of the podcast. That is.
I'm looking at Washago. That two-headed signal right at the station Washago must be for the split coming up at the switch. Tells you which way you're going.
Yeah, that's the home signal at Washago, and that's how you know where you're going.
Is that at the foundation of the old station? Looks like it.
I believe so.
Yeah, there's nothing there but pad now.
No, and I mean the Via station in quotations that's there now is teeny tiny.
Yeah,
it is, and there's just basically a pad there now.
Yeah.
Huh. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. Man. I think that's a great spot to see him. So, what side of the locomotive will you be on?
I'll be on the left side because I'll be in the conductor's chair.
Oh,
I'll be on the. I guess it's the south side of the crossing.
Wouldn't that be a son of a bitch, Bruce? If we ran and we saw that we caught the train, but we were standing on the wrong side of the tracks.
Oh, we just got to get. Yes, it's always terrible to be on the wrong side of the tracks.
We'd be going. Where is he? We don't see him.
There's a little bit of a road right south of the tracks there. We can just pull in there and.
Well, it depends which way he's going. I think we're going to be right there at the station. No, but I think it'd be funny if we were on the wrong, and we'd be like, "Where is he? I don't see him." No, he's on the other side of the locomotive.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Man, this would make all this work pay off. It'd be a very fun thing to do.
It would be.
What else is news? Anything?
On the model railroading side, I've finally settled on a name and location for my layout. I'm starting to pull together some resources to make it happen, and finding data and all that kind of fun stuff. I decided I was going to go kind of a proto freelance instead of completely a prototype.
I think that's becoming more and more popular.
I think so too. Yeah.
Because then we were talking to David Hyde from Dallas in the Dallas Fort Worth area. The what do they call it? The greater, what do you say? The Metroplex or something?
Metroplex.
Yeah, the greater Dallas Fort Worth area.
Greater DFW.
DFW and Love Field. But anyways, that's what he's modeling his prototype freelance of the Katie, the MKT. And,
right.
And I think that's becoming more. I mean, that's what Uncle Dave does too. He's doing proto freelance.
Yeah. So I won't get too much into it because it's very Canadian, and I don't want anyone to talk about things people don't know. But there used to be, back in the 50s, there was a New York Central line that ran across the St. Lawrence River at Cornwall and ran up to Ottawa.
Indeed, it did.
And in 57, they pulled it up because the Bridge Authority at Cornwall paid off the NYC because they needed to use the space occupied by the rail bridge. So the NYC was like, we'll take the money. And then they shut the line down.
Who wanted the space?
The Bridge Authority that runs the international bridges that go across to the States.
Right.
They wanted to build a new one. And the thing is, the rail bridge over into Cornwall was in the way.
Oh, okay.
So
it was all part of the Seaway construction.
It's all part of the Seaway construction, yeah. So it was cheaper to buy out New York Central and get them to close the line than it was for them to find a new location for the bridge.
Oh, okay.
But that resulted in the line getting severed, and then they pulled it up. So I thought about it. I was like, how cool would it be if the townships banded together and bought the line? Because of course, what ended up happening is the CN bought it and pulled up the track and moved the rail to build Taschereau Yard in Montreal.
Okay.
And I thought, how cool would it be if the townships banded together to buy the line and started a short line?
I like that. Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
That'd be cool.
Going to be set in 61.
And just so everybody remembers, or remind everybody, George lives in Belleville, Ontario, which is towards the eastern end of Lake Ontario.
Correct. And the two places I'm referring to, of course, Cornwall and Ottawa, are on the eastern part of Ontario, almost right near the end.
That's right. And when we were arguing with Josh, or I was arguing with you and Josh about just exactly how far Belleville was from the United States, I think I turned out later, I thought to myself, I think I'm right, because the international border runs right down the middle of Lake Ontario.
That is correct.
So in actual fact, you're not very far from the United States of America.
No, I'm not. That is a very good point.
Well, how's your house thing going? You were thinking of moving.
Well, we're pretty established here now, and I mean, I've registered my son for school in September. He's starting junior kindergarten. I can't believe it already.
But weren't you unhappy with the house or something?
No, we were having some problems with it at first, but those have since been rectified. And I mean, since it's been pretty good, so
okay.
I think we'll probably look for something. A big part of it is too. It's like it's going to depend on whether I win the bid for Belleville or not, right? So if I can get out here, in the next year or so, which I'd say is a pretty good possibility, then we'll probably start looking for something a little bit bigger. I'd like a little more space, maybe some property. But with the way the market is now, of course, that's a bit of a tall order. But
whatever happened to that 7.5 inch gauge you were going to fire up there in Hornepayne?
Oh, I'll still find some way to put it in the back 40 or something at some point. I'm nuts, you know that, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm beginning to pick up on that.
Yeah, good. If you haven't by now.
No, you're not nuts. You're just excited. You're excited,
ambitious.
But yeah, you're ambitious, and then you kind of forget to factor in a few elements on your plans sometimes.
Yes, this is true.
Well, that's cool though. This is all very cool. See, now this is a great chit chat. People are going to involve. It would be cool if we get to see him on the train, and then we could do an epilogue, Bruce, about it.
Indeed.
Yeah. Very cool. So you're gonna
love it.
Yeah, me too. Oh man, it'd be a lot of fun. I think it will take it'll take the podcast to a new level. because then I would have spent time with Uncle Dave, as he was being a big shot with the New Jersey Transit, and then we would have seen you at trackside as you went by, being a conductor on the 451 South. Which one's south?
451 is north, 450 south.
Okay, so we'd see you on the 450. Yeah, that'd be cool. And we can maybe get the guy to slow down to like 20.
We'll probably be going pretty slow, so
well, yeah,
definitely. And it'll if you guys are out on Tuesday, it'll be 451 because it's 451 on the way up and 450 on the way back.
All right, Tuesday you're gonna get the late call. You get the late call.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
What time you get the late call on Tuesday? What time do you get to North Bay usually?
If we do well, we could be there. It depends on the time, right? But if we do really well, hopefully we're there. 5-6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay, and then you book off, and then you do your 8 hours, and then you come back at 2 or 3.
Yeah. So on last Tuesday they called us right at the end of our window at 9:55 was when we were called for because our window ends at 10.
Okay.
So we got to North Bay I think around 8:30.
Okay.
8:30, 9 o'clock. So it was actually kind of nice because we were able to book off for 8 hours, and then we were back on the train at I think they had us called for 5:30, 5:45. So pretty much got to sleep the whole night, and then get up and come back in the morning. So that was nice.
Do you have any trouble?
By the time we'd finished building the train, the sun was up.
So you probably didn't go through Washego then until like 8 or 9 that day.
Oh yeah. That was late that day. Yeah.
What's the odds, Bruce, that we're going to see him?
I'll go 75-25.
Wow, that's pretty solid.
That's pretty solid odds. I'll take that.
It's an easy drive to Washego.
Oh, it is a piece of cake.
That's good. At least you guys aren't coming from too far.
Yeah.
No.
Have you been to Larkspur? Or it's Larkspurline, isn't it? That your uncle runs?
That's right.
Have you been there lately?
I was there about a month ago.
Did you see how our bucket worth of stuff did, or did you even ask him?
Yeah, it's as far as I know, most of it hasn't moved yet.
So has he still got those Cato Jeeps?
I'll have to ask him. I think so.
All right. Well, just tell him to load it all back in the bucket and send it back.
Yeah, I guess if it hasn't gone anywhere by now.
Yeah, if it hasn't gone anywhere now, just tell him to load it all in the bucket, and you can on Tuesday you can throw the bucket out.
Chuck it out the window. Yeah, there you go. Rail mail.
Rail mail. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, do we have anything else to talk to him about, Bruce?
I don't think so.
Have you been listening to the podcast?
Yeah, I have been. Yep, it's been nice on those drives in.
Okay. You said that like you weren't sure or something.
I think I'm a little behind now, but
but you've heard it though.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. I listen. I think the last one I listened to was the episode with me and Josh when that came out, and then that was funny.
Well, there's been other ones since then, and you've had that drive every day, so you don't really listen to the podcast hardly at all anymore.
No, I do.
Okay.
I do. I just gotta get caught up. Some of them twice.
Well, there's been you are goofy. You know that you're just goofy.
Oh, I know. I'm something else.
Yeah.
Basket case.
Yeah. No, you're not a basket case. You're not a basket case at all. Kelly's a basket case. I'm kidding, Kelly. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding, Kelly.
No, he's not.
Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am. You're sounding older. How old are you now?
Still 29.
Okay, but you're sounding more mature.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Definitely an improvement.
Yeah, exactly. And your son's starting junior kindergarten.
Yeah, can't believe that.
How many Ks you got on the old 4-banger caddy now?
Oh, it's getting up there now. I think I'm at 178.
How many did it have on it when you bought it?
70.
So you put 100K on it. You only had it a year and a half?
Yeah, coming up on a year and a half now, yeah.
100K in a year and a half. Holy moly.
Those drives to Hornepayne were brutal.
No kidding.
1,100 kilometers each way.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's not exactly nearby.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
That's,
really?
That's 684 miles for anyone of our U.S. listeners.
Oh, really? There was a bit of a drive, was it?
Just a tad.
Yeah, who would have
I mean,
thought?
my mayoral duties commanded it. I had to.
Yeah, that's true.
I had to. I didn't have a choice. My constituents required my presence.
All right. Well, if you got nothing else to tell us right now, this is cool that you've checked in with us. I like this, that you're checking in. That's good because people want to know what George is doing, and they're interested in your rail career, and it's pretty cool. The next step now is we're going to keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully we'll see you in a couple of days, and then Bruce and I will finish it off with an exciting rendition of what we did to watch. I know I'm looking forward to the pictures, the photos. Bruce, we're going to have to get ourselves organized for the photos because I want to be able to wave and see him, but I also want to get a photo.
Right.
That's a tough call. It's very hard to get photos and wave and say hi.
You can get a tripod with a remote control on it.
Have you got a camera? Like you got the setup all ready to go?
I've got a tripod with a remote. I can Bluetooth to my phone.
All right, then bring that along.
I can't wait. I'm excited for this now.
So there was no okay there, Bruce, or nothing.
Oh yeah, no. I got a Bluetooth remote. I can use on my phone and tripod. I can mount on my tripod. We're good to go.
All right. Well, don't let Kelly anywhere near it.
No.
All right, that's it. Go ahead, George. Take us out of this segment.
I don't remember how. It's been so long. I'm sorry.
Beautiful.
He doesn't listen to the podcast anymore.
No, apparently not.
No, it's when we talked to the one with him and Josh came out like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
Oh yeah.
So what do you?
Oh, sorry. We're doing a segment, right? It's not the podcast in and of itself, right?
Right.
Yeah. So okay, I got it. Don't worry. I'm not that rusty.
All right. Then go ahead.
What are your odds on this one, Lionel?
Yeah. All right, give it a shot, George.
Subway chime, go.
After listening to Adam, I'm dizzier than a trout in a blender.
That guy has more energy and whatever. The only thing I can relate him to, you see the jugglers on stage and somebody keeps throwing more balls at him, and then you got like 29 balls going in the air. That's what Adam's doing. He's got so much stuff on the go, and it's unbelievable. The amount of energy and enthusiasm this guy has is unbelievable.
You know what? He is the official plate spinner of the AML.
Oh, there you go. Got 29 plates going on the sticks. Yeah.
Imagine guys actually made a living entertaining people spinning plates on sticks.
Maybe they should bring that back, right?
We've come a long way.
We have come a long way.
We've advanced.
From spinning plates on the Ed Sullivan Show to who knows.
Well, we were talking about this just the other day. I said, do you have a copy of the original ANLS emblem, my railroad, the Allegheny and Lackawanna Southern? And you had one, and it was.
I had one, yes.
And it was fine, but you could see where it was. I don't know, what do you call it? The pixels were fairly low or something.
Yeah, I couldn't find a larger size image. I know I had that drawing done a big CAD drawing somewhere, but I suspect it is on a floppy disk, and I can no longer read floppy disks.
Yeah, you could throw those out. I think those are gone. You can barely buy you can't even buy a computer now with a CD drive in it.
No, they're all external drives. I had to, when I got my new laptop, I had to get an external drive for the CD. And
now my problem is I have like 17 external drives laying around.
Oh, yeah. And you try to remember on which one's on what. Yeah.
And you go to Costco. Oh, yeah, I should get another external drive. And you bring it home and you go, I already got 17 of these.
Yeah. But this one's bigger.
Yeah. This one will hold more stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, I took some advice from my son because I was backing up my entire computer, like everything that was on it.
All right.
And it would take, I would do it pretty religiously, like once a week I would do it. I'm pretty good at that because, with all the podcasts, that would be a hassle to go back and interview everybody.
This is true.
Not that it hasn't been an enjoyable experience. It's been a very enjoyable experience interviewing everybody, except for maybe Kelly. That was
Well,
did we ever interview him?
I'm not sure.
I think he did the Kelly question.
He came up with the idea of the Kelly questions, and we did that with him. I'm not sure we ever really interviewed him. That's
I'm
a
not
good
sure.
question.
Yeah, I don't think we actually ever interviewed him.
No.
And boy, that'd be 2 hours of your life you'd never get back.
Oh, no. You're going 7 miles an hour.
I love Kelly. Kelly is awesome. Kelly is
Looking forward to seeing him in the Comstock
Oh
coming up.
man, that's going to be cool. Comstock. Everybody's starting to get. Everybody's getting ramped up now. You can feel it coming.
Indeed.
You can feel it coming.
The excitement is building.
It's been almost 3 years in the planning, and it's getting exciting now.
Indeed.
So if you're waffling about whether or not to come, trust me. If you come to this, you will have an absolute time of your life.
Exactly.
The things that we're going to do are fun, but it's the people that we're going to be with that make it so much fun. It's
absolutely true.
I mean, look at the last time we did that one in Rochelle. Just
that was a blast.
Yeah, just sitting there.
Having a good time.
Yeah. Anyway, so we were going to talk about technology. We got off on.
We were going to talk about technology because we digressed from the fact that I found the logo and you did a different version. I said, well, it's the typeface is a little different. Do you want me to do it? I said, no, this is good. I like this. It's pretty much what I would have done back when I had technology. Then I go back. Just imagine, we were talking back, say 95 for the year.
Yeah.
What could you have done in 1995 if you had available today?
I know. Just imagine. Well, I feel so lucky that I discovered that I could do the podcast when I was still young enough to get some years in because it's so much fun just doing this. Imagine if 25 years ago we said to each other, well, we're going to have this basically a radio show that you'll be able to listen to in your car or wherever you are. And it'll be you and I sounding like we're in a $100,000 or $500,000 studio. And we would have gone, no, I don't see that.
Yeah. Give me another beer there.
So anyways, at the end, I used Photoshop elements and I created an A&LS sticker.
And it looked very nice.
Yeah. And then did you notice I included a black border?
I see you have a black border around it, which sets it off very nicely.
Yeah, I was going to go with another shade of green. And then I thought, well, there was two basic paint schemes. There was a forest green and yellow. And then there was a black and yellow. And then I thought, if I put the black border around, I've pretty much encompassed all the major elements.
Design elements, yes.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So anyways, that was a great show. Adam made my head hurt. But we're going to check in with him again because there's been even more developments. He's been able to manage to, he apparently is keeping his home. He's going to continue on with a 7.5-inch gauge Disneyland railroad around his home. And then our buddy George, we have yet to go see the Mayor of Hornepayne on a train. And speaking of technology, I'm really excited to do that because I got my GoPro, I got all my stuff ready to go, and so far nothing.
We just need to get the arrangements made so we can find them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on, George. Let's do this, man. Come on, this would be so cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
George,
talk about cameras. There's a big change you've gone through because you used to shoot tons of slides and stuff and wait around to get them done, and all of a sudden now digital you can blast away and
that had
no worries about how many rolls of film you're going through.
That was like the second or third year I'd been doing the column, and digital cameras had come out, and I went down to my local professional photography store, and I talked myself into buying a digital SLR. And I'm not really computer literate. I can get things going. I just don't like reading instructions. So I don't really why can't it just work, But anyways, I knew there'd be involved. You'd buy the digital SLR. There'd be a program that you installed with floppy disks. Or no, it was CDs back then, I think. Might even been those little hard 3 3/4-inch square. What were they? What size were they?
The 720 floppies or 1.4 floppies, depending which.
The little hard ones.
Yeah, the stiffies.
The stiffies. So anyways, I brought it home. And I thought, well, now just be patient. This is going to take me a couple of months to get this working, but we'll see how it goes. And for some reason or other, that day I was in a patient mood. So I loaded up the software. I went to the layout. I took a couple of photos. I brought them back. I managed to get it all working, and the photos showed up on the computer. And I went, and this has all happened the same day. And I went, Okay, well, that's it. I went back. I took a couple more photos that worked again. The next day, I sold all my film equipment on eBay.
There you go.
And I managed to get like $700-800, and I'm thinking I'm the last guy that managed to. I'm the last guy that managed to get any money for them because, and I never looked back. I never looked back.
Well,
So
it's like when our couple trips we done to Scotland, we did take some SD cards, and we shot over like 5,000 images last time we were over there between Gene and myself.
what kind of camera do you have?
I have a Fuji. I forget which one it is. It's sort of the bridge camera. It's got an adjustable lens for zoom lens and stuff, but it's not an SLR. It's what they call a bridge camera. It's like a Fuji FinePix S9000 or something like that.
I got a couple of Canon cameras called G. I think the last one I got was the G10. It's like a G. They had this whole series of, little portable cameras that had a bit of a zoom lens in it.
Yeah.
But it took spectacular photos. Like you could get them in RAW. You could get. I still got them and I still use them.
Yeah.
And the darn thing's like 20 years old.
Yeah, my camera shoots all in RAW and stuff like that, and it's I think it's 12.8 megapixels or something like that. It's
of course not.
It's a decent thing, and it's served me well. I can't complain about it.
No. Okay, so now there's people that don't understand what RAW versus JPEG is. So for those of you, the main difference between a JPEG and a RAW file is its size. RAW files are significantly bigger than JPEG image file formats. That's because they contain all the raw information captured by your digital camera's sensors, completely uncompressed.
Yes.
Do professional photographers use RAW or JPEG? Well, I think most of the time they use the RAW image. But
because a lot of the time, because they want to take that raw image, then put it into Photoshop or Elements or Lightbox or whatever they're using to process their images, and the raw image lets you do that. It's like having your negative off your camera, then you can mess around with everything. Whereas JPEG, it's already compressed and has some limitations on it as to what you can do with it further down the line.
Yeah, but I mean now, like this company I get the stickers made from, I just made that sticker on Photoshop Elements, not the full size Photoshop, just Photoshop Elements, and it's not that big of a file. And they'll send it off, and they'll make a spectacular. Companies can make spectacular stuff with littler. It is so. Cool. It is so cool. It's all so cool.
And we go back and forth this, but what could we have done back then? But then we would have missed this ride of the fantastic changes in technology over the last 25 years.
I think that part. I think I'm just as fascinated by all the change where we've come from.
Look at the original. Ancient DCC decoder we pulled out of that one unit of yours. It was so old that JMRI says, "Huh? What's this?"
Yeah, what is this?
And then and now we're at you got things with functions galore and sounds galore and stuff like that. So it's been an exciting time in the hobby.
It surely has. We were doing a show the other day. I can't remember who we were talking to, but we got talking about when I changed my layout over from DC to DCC, and like it turned out we were talking to Jim Scores.
We were talking to Jim about that.
Yeah, and I was like amazed how early on that I did that, because I'm not any kind of a technological guy, and yet I guess I was like back in the 90s I was doing it, not long after it had become a thing.
Yeah.
But it's very cool. All right, that's it. We got to go. We've killed
That's it. We're good to go.
Yeah, so that was a great show. We love Adam Pinellas. We're going to go back. Adam, we're coming back to check up on you again to see what's happening. And then that was the other thing. You were sitting in a hotel, and the first 2 minutes, it sounded like he was having an attack or something. There was crashing and bashing and carrying on. And then George, hello, George. I know you're listening to this because you're on it. He says he likes to listen, but he barely listens. We found out that he barely listens on that long 320-kilometer drive he makes back and forth to work. And George, I know you're listening to this because you're on it. And we want to see a trackside. So keep us informed, will you? For crying out loud. There was one day he sent us a message and we could have made it, but I had my sound off.
Yeah, and I think by the time we got it, he would have been halfway up to North Bay or Sudbury, where he was going.
Anyways, that's it. So could you give out our email address, please? And
yes, our email address. Please send us emails. We love getting emails from our viewers, and we love reading them on there, as you may have noticed when we do viewer mail. Send us an email on Modeler's Life, and Modelers is one L, modeler'slife@gmail.com.
And we have a website, amodeler'slife.com, and if you go there, there's all kinds of stuff. And if you didn't catch that email address, there's a picture of the moderately agitated mailboy in a particularly agitated state. And all you got to do is click on that picture, and boom, you can send an email. All you got to do is fill in your text. I can't believe I figured
the subject line and text, and away you go. Like, what could be simpler besides having somebody do it for you?
And we love getting email. We're going to do a couple email shows coming up.
Beautiful.
And plus, we got to do some fans. We got to cram in a couple of fan shows and a couple of email shows before Tom Stock.
There we go.
This is, I think, the last Monday in May that we're listening to this. And what else do we have to tell them? Oh, yeah. This is on the free channel. So if you enjoy this podcast and you'd like more podcasts and you're going...
What? You say there's more?
Yeah, you're thinking to yourself...
Oh, really?
You're thinking to yourself, gee, I wish I had like twice as much podcasts, AML podcasts to listen to every week.
That is possible?
Yeah. All you got to do is go on the same page where the moderately agitated mailboy's picture is. And just if you're on your phone, you scroll down a little bit. And there you just click on the Patreon link and it'll take you to, it'll explain it all to you. And before you know it, for just 365 easy payments of 16 cents a day, you can have twice as much podcasting a week.
Wow. Who wouldn't want that?
That's right. And the other thing I want to tell you, which is, I kind of find this to be rather exciting news. Let me see if I won't find it while we're talking, but Bruce, have you ever wanted a shirt with a hot dog on it?
I would love a shirt with a hot dog on it. Like, who wouldn't want a shirt with a hot dog on it?
Well, you can just go to Midwest Model MidwestModelRailroad.com. What's Midwest Model Railroad?
MidwestModelRR.com.
But it is actually the actual name.
It is Midwest Model Railroad.
Right, in Independence,
but their
Missouri.
website is MidwestModelRR.com.
Yeah, and you know what else is in Independence, Missouri?
Well, that's where Truman was born.
Yeah,
the
Harry Truman Museum.
Yes.
So, anyways, let's see. I want to see if I can see this. I saw a post somewhere. I don't know where it was, or maybe it was a question on the fans page. But it was, where did you hear about Midwest Model Railroad? Yeah. And there was like 4 or 5 people said right here on the old AML.
Well, there you go.
Boom. So that's all you need to know. It's a great shop. And they're, like Bruce said, their URL is MidwestModelRR.com. So if you go to the top of their if you go to their website and scroll all the way over to the right-hand side, it says AML shop. And then there's a drop-down menu that says hats, mugs, outerwear, shirts.
Yes.
As opposed to innerwear. Maybe we should have some AML underwear so you could have innerwear as well.
AMLR underoos?
Yeah, and we got to get Stephen going adding. Oh, look, it's just some of the mugs are out of stock.
Yeah, I was looking at it, and they still don't have the hot dog on the mug. So we got to bug them to get the hot dog on the mug going.
How can they be out of stock? All right, well, we'll have to talk to them.
That's a good question. We'll have to dial them up and find out what's going on.
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on? Let's see. What else is in the AML shop? I'm going to see if everything else, maybe everything's out of stock in the AML shop.
Uh-oh. There's been such a run on merch.
Oh, no, there's lots of T-shirts, hats, hoodies, a few mugs.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, go there, MidwestModelRR.com. Boom. And I think his business is strictly, if it hadn't been for the AML Nation, he would have been struggling to keep going. That's the way I'm going to take it.
I saw recently, I must have been on their Facebook page, they've got a couple nice little layouts under construction in the shop there, and scale and HO one.
They do. We've killed 20 minutes on this outro. We got to stop talking.
Beautiful.
All right. You ready?
Ready.
So remember, a Modeler's Life podcast is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10
people appreciating ancient technology.
Mr. Strang's wardrobe provided by The Dashing Camper. For all your fashion and tent repair needs, trust The Dashing Camper.
It's another Lincoln Homer.
Nice one. I like that. Go Leafs, go. Like, I mean, really, seriously, like, are we ever going to even win a playoff series again?
No.
Flight attendants, cross-check doors and verify.